The topic for this week's tip is kind of an esoteric one, and it really applies more to things you might actually want to do in your work than to something you might need for the master's program, but I do find it handy. Last week I talked about tubular bind-offs, and I mentioned that although there are techniques where you can do a tubular bind-off for knit 2, purl 2 ribbing like this, they don't really look that good. I've never seen one I really like, and so generally what I will do is if I'm going to be doing tubular ribbing and I have knit 2, purl 2 like this, I convert it to knit 1, purl 1 before beginning the whole tubular process, which, if you recall, involves slipping every other stitch and for 2 rows, at least 2 rows, and then doing kind of a Kitchener-y type of thing to end it. Now, this is actually the cuff of a fingerless mitt I'm knitting for a friend for Christmas, but since it's knit 2 purl ribbing, knit 2 purl 2 ribbing, I can convert it, and then I'll just take it out and continue on my merry way. Well, you can see that this is knit 2 purl 2, and if I want to convert this to knit 1 purl 1, I can just knit. Okay, I've got my first knit, and now I want to take this purl and put it over there. And I can use a cable needle, or you don't have to use a cable needle. I'm using it just to really show the process. And I'm going to purl that stitch, and then I'm going to work that knit. So I have knit, purl, knit, and then my next stitch is a purl, purl, and it's a knit, and then I just have to do the same thing. So every few stitches or so you have to use a cable needle and work those stitches, and just be careful to see that you have the stitches in order. Now, although it may look like, oh, this is just going to be a disaster, look at how bizarre these stitches are. This one's over here, those stitches that I have cabled over to get them. When you actually pull these off in a tubular bind off, you don't notice it at all, because the next row would be to knit that, slip that one with the yarn in front, knit, slip with this one, the yarn in front, to get that rolled edge, and this row just kind of blends in. And believe me, I've done both, where I've tried to do a tubular bind off with knit 2 purl 2, and this looks a lot better.